hooty hoo. Happy Sunday too. I am the sound of money in your ear, doll Avant. That's still double L. I'm often imitated, never duplicated. They call me the $1 billion babe, aka the pitch queen, aka the people's coach, aka Coach Dollar Bill. And you are in the dollhouse. This is the home of high value entrepreneurs. Over here, it is day number 46 of this 100-day challenge. This is the home of the OGs. Okay, let's talk about it. Today, we're going to get a better relationship with intuition. That's what we're going to talk about today, because I've got people in the dollhouse, people who've been rocking with me for a minute, who are literally out here like, intuition is my side chick. Like, I see her from time to time, but not for real. And that's wild. That was like the wildest statement I've ever heard. So we're really gonna circle back. We're gonna talk more about intuition and getting a better relationship with said energy, because like I said, it's really your greatest, highest version of yourself. This is really like you, if you were doing all the things that you know that you are capable of. That's the voice of intuition. You know what I mean? That is your instruction. That's your internal guidance system. That is you saying, let me stop playing. What if I didn't make excuse? What if I didn't allow there to be a gap between what I know and how I'm showing up? That's intuition. And it's just holding that energy. So what if we could change our relationship with intuition? What would that be like? I'm also going to reiterate and recap what we talked about yesterday in terms of interviewing yourself, auditing yourself, so you can get deeper understanding of your value, your positioning. You know what I mean? Because honestly, if you get this part right, and you can really tap into like what you're about, what you stand for in your business, things get different really, really fast. And nobody could take that from you when it comes from within, when you build it yourself based on what you know, not what you think, not what you guessed, not what you spend a few minutes on here and there, and then you drop back down, to your lower self. But when you just really stay there and live from that place, things get different. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I was going to do like a weekly wrap up and like go into the news and what's happening, but it doesn't matter. You know what? It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, without being long winded, without the things that need to show up in my Substack, just understand that things are happening. Things are happening out here. We need to be paying attention. We need to be moving differently. We don't have time to play in these entrepreneurial streets. We can't play with it. So I'm going to give you everything I've got. I'm going to make myself available to you. And I'm going to make sure that you have what you need to start your engine. Because that's first. We got to start the engine. Got to get clear. Got to start talking to humans. We got to do all the things. And then we take those learnings and those findings and those early customers, because somebody would have paid you by the time you get through that first round. Okay. Then we're going to take that, and now we're going to show up with more intentionality, with more clarity, and specifically focus. This plate is spinning. Okay. We know how to talk to humans. Things are happening in real life, IRL, right? Now we're going to take those learnings and those findings and intentionally show up on social media. I keep repeating myself because I know that people are struggling with this. I know that people aren't doing this. I know they're hearing me and then they immediately go back to life as it was before we had this conversation. And I want more from you. I want more for you than that. So it's my job to make sure that you at least have access to how to think about this. And when you're ready to make the shift, this is where you can come and find those resources. So we are officially getting off the financial grid. We're making that change. I'm nothing but a mirror. I'm just showing you a reflection of your greatest, highest version of yourself. And when you're ready to make that change, we have to shift from being an employee to being an entrepreneur, not just any entrepreneur, a high value entrepreneur, somebody who has moved from hustle into habits, and somebody who's no longer just showing up as a consumer, but you moved into becoming a creator. You're taking responsibility for the outcomes that you get every day. And you know what? We are moving out of lack and limitation, moving to a place where love and legacy is what we do. It's what we do all day, every day. We come from love, we leave a legacy every day. I want to normalize this. And, turning our ideas into assets is all based on this identity shift. So if you have your notes, your notebooks, if you have your Bibles, let's get into it. Let's do it. So the first thing I want to do is define intuition. Can we talk about that for a second? What does it even mean? You ever thought about that? I'm doing, I always do my etymology and such. But have you ever really thought about it? Like, what does that even mean? And it's funny because we don't question, like when you have regular thoughts all day, every day, you don't make a big deal out of it. But then when it comes to, intuition, this is going to take me somewhere. Actually, what you're facing is the reality that you are already equipped with everything you need to shift, to make a change. It's already in you. So when you have to acknowledge intuition, you have to now acknowledge the fact that anything you want to change in your life is actually up to you. So there's a certain level of responsibility that comes with that. But intuition has to do with this insight. It's kind of inner cognition, if you will. It's your ability to perceive things that you can't see in the 3D realm. Intuition is what happens when your human technology pauses and considers evidence and information that's not visible in the 3D. It's not visible to our senses. Intuition is almost like a tutor or someone who's watching over, somebody who can see from a higher vantage point. It's the part of you that can see from a higher vantage point. And it's saying, hey, based on what I'm seeing right here, I see you, you need to go this way. You can't see because you're right there, you're in it. Intuition is sitting in a higher seat, higher thoughts. Think of intuition as your higher thoughts, okay? Or like a tutor. This is literally where the word comes from. It has the same etymology as the word tutor. So your intuition is guiding you. Your internal guidance system is here to help you to know which way to go when you don't know. You know without knowing. That's your intuition. And we all have this gift. You know what I mean? We all have the ability to tap in. We're never lost. We're never stuck. And the beautiful thing about like the truth by the way it feels. Like you don't have to let me see. You don't have to, how do you say that? We don't have to get stuck in like overwhelm and stuck in like, I don't know what I'm doing, or stuck in like frustration or stuck in anything. Because if you just do the work, do the breath work, the meditation, like whatever you have to do to center yourself so that you and your physical body are not feeling stress and anxiety. If you do that every day and then make it your business to feel like that all day, every day, that's half the battle right there. Is not allowing yourself don't allow anxiety to live in your body. That should not be a normal state of being where I'm frustrated and I don't know what's going on and I'm all over the place and I don't know what to do. Like, why do I have to have this conversation with entrepreneurs? Because if we can't settle these issues, we can't tune into intuition. Because intuition and chaos don't go together. Intuition is like, you call me when y'all finish with all of that, and I'll be back. Like, intuition is not trying to do all that with you. That's just real. So, but the calmer you are, well, how can I be calm when all this is going on? That's the first battle. That's the shift from employee to entrepreneur. Because you can't show up in that old energy and expect to get new results. Like, you can't. I would love to tell you something different. I would love to tell you, spin around 3 times and whatever, but it's not true. So I don't know if that's hard for people. I don't know if it's just like, yeah, that sounds cool, but I'm not doing that. But I just want, like, give me the framework, give me the secret sauce. This is the secret sauce. This is it right here. So feeling calm, not feeling anxious. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, literally, I keep going, like, physically feeling like everything is okay. It's the first job. Every morning, it's the first battle for some of us. But as a high value entrepreneur, we live from this place. The same way that you would feel emotionally and in your nervous system, if every single thing that you ever wanted was handled, you have to show up like that now. So the difficulty, everything that happens in that gap between when I say that and what your mind says, that tells you where you are for real. Because if you're like, oh, I can't do that because that, well, then we have to deal with all the dot. The dot is keeping you from this life that you said you wanted. And nobody can force you to do that. Make this change, but you. If you don't do it though, this is my challenge. This is why I'm like, we could just go and do other cute stuff. We could just go and like hang out, just just go restaurant hopping as a group, as a community. We could like just do fun stuff, go hiking, or I don't know what people do. Just be outside and just take little cute pictures, like yay, and we're in the dollhouse, woo, and just let it be that. But that would be a disservice to you guys, because that means nobody's getting any results, but we're all just hanging out and we're making ourselves feel better. We're giving ourselves a dopamine hit by showing up, and we all say we were there. And that's not enough for me. You know what I mean? Like, I want you guys to look, I want me, look, I want my family. I want everybody that I'm associated with to detach from the matrix, detach from the system that they're building, not to your benefit, it's to your detriment. I want everybody to just be free from all of that. Is that too much to ask? Am I doing too much? I'm holding space for us to actually graduate, for us to actually, you know what? I have this bill. It's fine. And I held the energy, and the money came. Then I started doing the work. I started auditing myself. I asked myself these questions. I had a hypothesis. Then I went out and talked to humans. I got some feedback. I revised my hypothesis, and I put together a very simple, very clear offer. Super, super clear. People understood the problem that I solved. They knew what to associate me, my name, and my brand with. They started telling my story when I wasn't there. And I was able to convert that and turn it into an engine that keeps paying me money. And it started out, I was making a couple $1,000s a month extra. Then I got some real part-time income, you know what I'm saying? $5,000, $6,000 a month. And then, I just realized, we just made $12,000, $15,000 the last 3 months, and it wasn't even hard. Like, I'm getting different phone calls. I'm able to go on speaking tours. I'm able to do the things I said I wanted to do. I paid off some debt. Like, everything is fine. I want us to get to the part where it's not a grind and a hustle and a struggle. Like, who's doing that? We don't have to do that anymore, y'all. That's what I want for us. So you let me know if I'm being too ambitious, if I need to lower the expectations of the room. But I don't think so. I think everybody wants that. Everybody. Why can't we? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. So this is what I'm saying. I don't want to see any more of these creators, people on TV, people online, just doing foolishness. Look, for lack of a better term, just content that we could do without. The world would be just fine, okay, if some of these creators were to just shut it down today. We'll be fine. But there is something on the inside of you, something that you've been given and gifted, something that you were supposed to bring into the world that nobody can do but you. There are families and people and whatever that you're supposed to impact that nobody else could do. The world will be different if you don't do this work. I truly believe that about the people that are here. So it's my job to, I guess, create a space where that's normal to expect the best and the most out of you. Does anybody do we do that? Is that a thing that we can do? Is that okay? All right, that's what we're gonna do. So day 46, y'all. Day 46. Let us. We're almost at day 50. You see, we've been doing this for a while. 46 days in, everybody's going back to their old habits already. But you see, I'm not doing a whole lot of super duper funnels and all of that, because if we don't shift our identity, nothing else matters. So, I hope y'all had a good weekend or happy love day or whatever. We've got to do the work of learning how to trust our intuition. We talked about defining our worldview and having this hypothesis of what this really is that we're doing, and going out here and talking to humans to validate our hypothesis and clarify who it is we help, choosing a new identity, codifying our beliefs. But look, I didn't put two and two together. This is what I'm actually telling you. What we talked about yesterday and your intuition, you're just giving your intuition a house to live in, or the engine is your intuition. They're inseparable. You say it that way. Because when you start out with a worldview, your hypothesis, this is what I think, this is what I believe, and then you write that down, all you did was give shape and structure to your intuition. So that's why this is where we start our engine. Instead of getting stuck in your head, you're like, oh yeah, I had this idea, I wanted to do this thing. You believed in it so much that maybe you quit your job, or maybe you started telling people you were in business or whatever activities you've been doing. But then if you don't turn around and give it a home, now your intuition is out here in the 3D realm, floating around homeless. It's got no car, it's just a nomad. You just got intuition just popping up, no clothes. Get that baby some clothes. You know what I mean? Like he's unhoused, he's unloved, the intuition just floating around. We have to build these systems to house, to hold, to put structure to this energy, this spark that we've brought out into the world. We have to. Otherwise, we'll keep losing momentum. We get a little traction and then something happens. We get a little momentum and then we don't follow up. And that's not sustainable. What if you had breath for like 30 minutes and then you just stop breathing for 12 hours? Like, what do you call that? Death. Like, you can't, your business cannot function like that. We need structure. We need to do this like our life depends on it, because the life of your business, this entity that you're creating, actually does depend on it. Okay. So you can't do this just all in your head. Okay. Your conscious mind, your intellect is not enough. It's not designed to navigate entrepreneurship. Okay. Conscious mind is designed to keep you safe and it help you function down here in the 3D, the 0.0035% of the electromagnetic spectrum that you can actually see and interact with your five senses. That's what your brain is for. That's what your conscious mind is designed to do. Okay, it's filtering out 11 million pieces of information per second so you can focus on the 40 or 50 that matter in this moment so you can do what you need to do. That's what your brain is doing. It compares what's happening now to what happened before. It's looking for patterns and it's trying to predict what's going to happen next so you can do what you need to do so your body can function accordingly. That's it. That's what your conscious mind knows how to do. And that's perfectly fine if you are third generation Walton, you know what I'm saying? And somebody else already figured out where this money's coming from. Somebody else already put you on a system. And you don't have to think about money at all. You can just wake up like, what will I do with my freedom? What is my purpose for being on the planet? You know, that's so cool. That's so cool when somebody else has already figured out how you're going to live out here. And when you're an employee, that's fine. Or let's say after you got a big contract, or on the other side of this work that I'm talking about. If you're an employee, you're showing up to the same job, doing the same thing every day, you're getting the same paycheck. Your conscious mind is like, okay, I know what's going on. If you had a big contract somewhere, that's why everybody wants to skip steps on the roadmap. If you were down the road and you knew where all your business was coming from, let's say you just walked into a partnership, your cousin, was famous or whatever, and like they're attached to a system that's bringing money in consistently, so you don't have to figure that part out. Then yeah, you can go out here, be cool and throw up storefronts and do the design. You know how they do on these reality shows? They just be opening stores. They ain't got no community or nothing, except for they do because they're on a TV show. So they already have an engine behind them that's generating community. Then they show up on social media to leverage that, and they hopefully, they still be going out of business most of the time. But you know what I'm saying? If you're attached to a system already, fine, you can float. But if you have to build the system yourself from scratch, you're building something that doesn't exist yet, stepping out into the unknown, something you can't see. Because where did your idea come from? It's from the unseen, you can't see. You actually have no reference point. Your conscious mind don't know what's going on. And so you know what it does? It actually freaks out. It actually starts glitching. It's like, I don't know how to do this. I don't have enough information. I don't have any money. I don't have any experience. I don't know nobody. I don't know what I'm doing. Danger. It's freaking out. And it wants to send you back to what you know, what's familiar. Wasting time, juicy crab, hookah lounge, running to conferences, trying to get credentials, wanting somebody to shout you out. If I could just get this celebrity to holler at me, if I get them to post me on their page, you look for something external to validate you, to make you feel like it's okay. Trying to anchor you because there's no system yet. There's no system yet. And that's why I'm sitting here telling you, this is how you build a system. This is how you go from an idea to creating a structure around that idea. We're going to go over it again today. Most people are not trying to do this because you're gonna run into yourself when you do this process. This is where intuition comes in. It's not, again, this mystical thing, whatever. I'm talking about your connection to the 99.9965% of reality that you can't see with your five senses. The part that your conscious mind cannot process. Intuition is handling all of that. Okay. It's your inner guidance system. Neuroscience calls it like a subconscious processor. Quantum physics, they call it non-local awareness. It's like being aware of something that's not in the physical, lived, shared 3D reality where you are, but it still exists. Because you know how quantum entanglement, if two things are connected at the quantum level, they don't have to be touching. They could be 1,000 miles apart, and you do something to this one, and it's going to affect the other one. And when I tell you your people and the customers that you need, and the partners that you need, and the stuff that you need to make your business a thing already exists, when you show up in the energy and you start moving, it's moving things that you can't see right now. This is at the quantum level. Okay, so your intuition becomes your internal guidance system to help you get to the place and make what's non-local, make it show up where you are physically. So if you don't know how to trust your intuition, you're never going to get these outcomes in your business. It's impossible. Hence, 97% of businesses, Black businesses, never grow large enough to hire any outside employees, or, they're out of business in 5 years and that whole thing. Black women, especially, a lot of the majority of Black female-owned businesses, even if they're staying in business, quote unquote, they're actually below the poverty line. They're making like less than $25,000 a year. Certainly, in terms of what they bring home, actually can pay themselves. And we don't want to do that. We want to raise those numbers and raise those outcomes so we can support our family. We got kids to take care of. We got other family members and older generations to care for. We got, some of us still got student loans and different things going on. Like, it's a lot. And then, we want home ownership is getting, do you know the average age for buying a house is now like 40 years old in America? And that's if you're doing really, really well. Like really, really well. Like more and more people in this age range don't actually own a house anymore. And it wasn't like that in our parents', time coming up. So if we don't learn how to tap into intuition, like, it's not looking good out here. You know what I mean? So like I just said, this is how it works. Your brain is receiving these 11 million bits of information per second, right? Literally every second. Can't process all that. It's like 40 to 50 at the most per second. So everything else, that's what your conscious mind can process, about 40 to 50 bits of information per second. So 99.99999% of what you're actually processing is happening at the subconscious level, below your conscious awareness. Patterns, probabilities, energetic signatures, emotional data, body-based wisdom, collective intelligence. Like you just walk in the room, you're just like, something don't feel right. Well, how do you know? Well, your conscious mind can't tell you why you just know. That's what I want to talk about when I keep saying like how you feel is like, stop playing about this, because before your conscious mind, your prefrontal cortex, and your smart self can articulate what it is, your body already felt it. That's why they talk about a gut check. You just know. It's energetic. And we've got to get a better relationship with that and trust that. Go with that before we can figure out how to put words to it. That's our survival, and ultimately how we're going to thrive as well. So it delivers information because it's going faster than your brain can process. So the way you get the information from that realm is your gut feeling. Just a sudden, I just know. It's almost like an inner voice. Synchronicities, things just line up. You might be having certain dreams or certain things just come to you. And your physical, like I said, sensation. Something just don't feel right, something feels off. Don't ignore that. It's intuition. It's not like deep. It's not like, I mean, people say magic, you can call it what you want to. I don't call it that. I'm just saying, you're a human technology. This is how, before the part that processes it and puts language around it, it just is. And you know it already. So your brain has processed way more data than you can consciously understand. And it's bringing you a report. It's like, you don't have to know what I'm saying. I'm just saying. So are you going to be like, imagine you work for somebody and they're the CEO. They don't know what's going on. They got 2,000 employees. They're all over the place. They just got off TV. They just got off the plane. They're running. And then they hired you to go out here and get the intel and just tell me what's going on over there. So then when they come back to the office and you come in there and you're like, okay, boss, here's the report. This is what I discovered. This is what I heard people saying in the break room. This is what's going on over here. This is what the shipping guys are doing. This is what I saw in the news. Like, this is what I saw in the blogs. This is what's going to be here in 18 months. This is where all the girls, this is what they're wearing now. As a CEO, you have a choice. You could be like, oh, this is great intel, great information. Thank you for that. We're going to go based on this. Or you could be like, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't seen that in the news. It's not in the New York Times. Nobody told me that in my fancy meeting. So you must be off and just totally ignore. How would you feel? That's how we treat our intuition. Y'all literally said, treating intuition like a side chick out here. I never heard that. That's amazing. So we want to rise from doing that. We don't want to just be like, that's a nice, okay, thanks for that report. Now back to what I was talking about. You know what I mean? Like, that's a problem going somewhere to happen. So what if we took our intuition more seriously? In order to do that, we've got to understand how this actually works, because we've been programmed to just pay attention to what's around us and base our identity and our value and our worth on what we can see. And if we got people in our ear, like, you ain't doing nothing, I don't see nothing, where the buddy at? You said it, da, 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 da. You said it's gonna work, blah, 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 blah. I don't see why you could, I don't see how it's gonna, blah, blah, blah. That's not helping. So the more confident you can get in the way the actual system works, your actual human technology. This is like me teaching you a class on how this computer, this phone works. I'm like if you're like, oh, I just don't see how it's going to work. We never question the technology. When somebody gives us a phone or a computer or a TV, we just hit the button, turn it on, do what we need to do, and go ahead on. We don't sit there like, I don't know if it's going to work. I'm not sure. I'm telling you that you are equipped with everything you need to be a multi-millionaire. You, right now. Now, you don't need no new information. You don't need no nothing. You are already equipped right now. The question is, are you going to follow intuition step by step by step by step and walk into it? Or are you going to not allow your emotions and your nervous system state to be dysregulated by the fact that, well, I got this bill due on Tuesday. I don't see where no money's coming from. Are you going to focus on that? Or are you going to focus on what I just said? I have a computer now. You know what I'm saying? I have it now. So I might not know how to use Claude co-work, but I saw an email and they told me that they were going to tell me step by step by step by step how to go in here and use it. And when I learned, they said it's going to be like having a second employee, second brain. It's going to speed me up. It's going to be twice as fast as I whatever that is. And I don't know how to use this computer. So you can focus on, I don't know what I'm doing, child. I've never done this before. Or you could just do it. Okay, somebody tell me what to do. Okay, first do this. Boom, boom. Now I know how to turn it on. Okay, do what now? What if you couldn't read? What if you didn't know English? Okay, let me go learn some English so I can type on this thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you just trust the process and go step by step. Okay, I did that. Now what I need to do now? Because it's going to work. The reason why we don't show up in our business like that is we don't trust the process. We don't believe it's actually going to work. Okay, so let's look at it. Let me prove it to you. Quantum physics. It's already been proven over the last 50, 100 years. How did we get through World War II? Quantum physics. Okay. Tells us that reality is not fixed. At the quantum level, particles, atoms and things smaller than atoms, exist in a state of probability until you observe them, until you put your human consciousness into the mix. Everything is just in a state of probability. It could go like this, it could go like that. Your business right now, it could just fizzle out into nothingness. I remember when I said I was going to start a business 20 years ago, you'd be telling your grandkids, yeah, yep, one time I said I was going to start a business. That didn't work. Or you could be telling your grandkids, yeah, I'm so proud of what you guys have done with this inheritance that I left you when they turn 25 and they get full access to the trust fund. I got people in my family experiencing that now. Whenever I have grandkids, I don't know when that's gonna be, but they're gonna have to come see me if they haven't blown up Europe by the Lake Como. They're gonna come visit great grandma Dollar Bill, and I'm gonna come out the villa with. I'm gonna look out over the balcony. Who are these children? Okay, these are my kin. Let them in. Let them in the gate. Like they're gonna be like, Grandma Dollar Bill. We have heard there will be legend. The legend. You know what I'm saying? But both of those exist right now as a possibility. And it's up to you to decide which version of your life outcome is going to be a reality. Your attention, your focus, it collapses. It's a wave function. It's like possibility, like the water. Like, well, I'm just out here floating. I had an idea. Now I don't know. You need to make a decision. You need to lock in on a destination. And that's what collapses everything down. And it starts to become the particles, the physical, what we see around us. It takes the non-local and brings it to your locality, to your location. Time is money. Time is a word of location. I keep telling y'all this. One day you're going to wake up like, I get it now. I'm telling you. Following your intuition is your superpower. And if you drop down into your heart space and stop trying to figure everything out with your conscious mind, well, how am I going to do this? Well, I don't know what to do. Your job is to keep your emotions, your nervous system state regulated, to feel the same level of calm, like literally, physically feel it. I take a breath, feel. Do you feel relaxed and calm, or you're like, I don't know how I'm gonna pay this bill next month, next week. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I'm not sure about this. Your job is to stay calm. And then intuition will be like, hey, go read this book. She keep telling you to read the book. Go read that book. You go read it. I think I need to go to this event. I'm gonna go. You go. You do the things every day. You practice or whatever. You're working on your big five, and somebody calls you, you run into somebody in the airport, and it just naturally flows out of you. Well, just, you know what? You need to meet my cousin because they run the whole, and you're like, what? Things that you can't predict and like control. You have to let these things flow through your regulated nervous system. You become a channel. Things happen through you instead of whatever life be life and happening to you. Okay. So your attention, your focus is what collapses this wave function and starts creating this new reality. So wherever you focus your attention on is going to become real. If you're constantly telling me what you don't have, what you can't do, why it's not working, you're creating more of that. However, if you stay tuned in to the frequency of abundance, where intuition lives, where imagination lives, in the frequency of what's possible. Don't tell me how you can't do it. Tell me what you can do. Tell me what's aligned. Tell me what ideas you've already started that you haven't finished. Tell me something that, I never really tried it this way. Maybe I could. Tell me that. That's when you start to create that instead. You don't get what you want. You get who you are. And you can't fool the universe. You can't tell me, well, I'm a good person and I'm this kind of person, but I'm just going to watch what you do every day. When I see what you do every day, that's telling me who you are, not your words, right? So your external reality is just a mirror of whatever you're doing most frequently. That becomes your frequency, what you believe, what you focus on, what you actually trust. When you trust something enough, you'll move on it. Trusting intuition feels like certainty, alignment, flow, expansion. Not like, oh my God, what am I going to do? It's like, what are my options today? What do I get to do? And you'll be creating things that your logical, conscious mind could never figure out. Okay. Here's the problem with logic. And this for all my brilliant folks in this group. Problem with logic is it's backwards looking. Logic says, okay, based on what I know, based on what's happened before, this is what I think I should do, based on what I could see. That's logic. That's logical. But entrepreneurship is designed to go beyond what you can see. It's designed to create in the future. That's why they do projections. They're always predicting what's going to happen next month, next quarter, next year in your business. But when you're first starting out, you don't have any historical patterns to reference. You're building something that's never existed. You're stepping into a version of yourself that does not have a track record. So your logic is not really going to help you out here at all. Intuition can, however, because intuition is tapped into that place where all realities exist at once. Intuition is tapped into future possibilities. It's tapped into these unseen connections. You don't know about the millions of people who are thinking exactly the problem that you're solving, and they're at the house like, oh my God, if somebody can't figure this out for me, I don't know what I'm going to do. You can't see that, but they exist, right? These emerging patterns, quantum potential. Intuition is how I was ahead of before everybody started acknowledging that we have a water quality problem in the United States of America. When I started, everybody was like, oh, our water's fine. We're fine. What do you mean? We live in America. It's America. And then about a year after I started doing the research real heavy, Flint happens. And it went overnight from like 47 to 50%. I think it was just under 50% of Americans thought we had a water quality problem in the United States. And Gallup did a poll. It went to 87% overnight. All of a sudden, it's like, wait, whoa. So you mean to tell me Aaron Brockovich and, what happened in Flint and all these stories? If you look, there are too many stories. All of these weren't just isolated events. We have a national, nay, a global water crisis. But intuition had me in position. I was already ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, now we're about to literally run out of water bankruptcy, global. I'm in position to solve the problem because I follow intuition, as opposed to what if I had just done nothing for all these years? And now, we have a global water crisis. I wouldn't be in position to be getting phone calls from the United Nations and the Department of Energy and all of these people. Can you help us? I wouldn't be in position for these hundreds of millions of dollars in government contracts that are now coming because we've been using AI from the beginning, before people were calling it AI. But because I followed intuition, I was in position. This is about location. This is about being where you're supposed to be, because you have to get aligned. If you don't see abundance yet, that means it's on its way, or you got to move. There's some motion that's involved. Money follows motion. So follow your intuition like a GPS, and you won't have no problems. GPS tell you turn left, you don't be like, well, I don't think I should turn left. Why would I do that? If I didn't, you just turn. So when intuition speaks, we got to move. Okay. You don't know how things are going to work. You just know that that's the next step you need to take. That's why you have to keep your channel clear. You can't have a bunch of foolishness and confusion and strife and back and forth and going crazy and glitching and, oh my God, you pass it out, all type of terrible food that you're eating. You're not supposed to be eating that food, and you eat it anyway, and you think it's not affecting you, and it is. Your gut is your second brain. What are you putting in your body? What are you doing? What are we doing? Y'all, who are we hanging out with? I need to do the class for the people who ask for the relationship thing. Listen, you better stop letting these people drain your energy, and you wonder why you can't get nothing done. Who are you who you with? Is that Bertie Mac? What are we doing? We got it. We live by this energy, y'all. It is when, like I said, when you're done, when everybody knows your name, like cheers, you know what I'm saying? And you can sit at the house. How long can you sit at the house and your phone keeps ringing? I didn't mean to test this, But people took me to a place and I had to take a break for my own company that I built. I've been at the house technically, compared to the way I was going since 2023. This will be my 3rd year. And my phone is still ringing from across the world. On the other side of the world. Can you come to Australia? Can you do this? Can y'all help us with this? Would you participate in this? I've been saying no for 3 years. So how deep is your social capital? How much wealth have you built up in the narrative? Who's talking about you when you're not there? If you were to sit home right now, how long would it take before your money stops rolling in? For most of us, that's very short. And that's what I'm saying. You got to get out here and put the work in on this part. Control your own narrative on this part. Make sure everybody in your circle knows who you are and knows what you got going on and can repeat that to somebody else. Do this work now and it compounds and it'll pay you for years to come. So until you get there, you can't afford to just sit down and chill. I need you to move. So when intuition speaks, we move. You don't have to know how. Stop depending on your logic and your conscious mind. I just proved to you that your conscious mind is going to put you back in that limited little 0.0035% little peephole. You have to shrink yourself to fit in there, So don't do that. Rise. Reset your identity. Seek expansion. We don't have to know how it's going to work. Just we have to clear the field and then trust in intuition. Okay, take that step, and the path reveals itself. Take another step, the path reveals itself. Take another step, the path reveals itself. That's how we start rocking with intuition. If you wait for logic to show you the whole thing, that's why we don't start with a business plan. If you try to figure out the whole thing before you take a move, you will be waiting forever. It's like playing chess. How you gonna sit there and map out the whole chess game? You don't know what the other person's gonna do yet. You got to put something out in the field. And then you get a response. And then you go again. And then you get a response. You see what I'm saying? You have to move. It's the ripple effect. You got to start. You got to go. You got to put something out. Now, y'all know I talk about this all the time. The reticular activating system. It's a filter. It's going to decide what information makes it up to your conscious awareness and what gets thrown out. And so it's going to prioritize what you have said is important. So if you believe that you could just sit at the house and sit there and make plans and, yeah, I got this idea, but I can't do that now. And you keep saying that 3 years from now, you still talking about all the ideas and you can't do that now. How about that was intuition trying to move you in a direction, but 3 years go by and you don't have enough money? It's because you're not moving on what intuition told you to do. Yeah, I want to get started on that, but if that but is not a strategic move where you feel like, okay, what I'm doing right now is totally in alignment, and probably by next quarter, beginning of next quarter, I'll be able to incorporate. Like if you're not talking strategically, I could tell by the way y'all talk. If you're just saying, oh, that's a good idea, but that just means you don't want to rise, expand your capacity so you could take that extra idea on. But that could be the very thing that puts you where you need to go. So as long as you stay expansive, your money will flow. If you get contracted and you start, intuition is speaking and you keep ignoring it, you're going to run into money problems because it's all energy. Money is energy. If you believe that money is hard to make, you're going to see more evidence of that. If you believe opportunities are everywhere, you're going to get evidence of that. If you're constantly asking, man, what's wrong? What am I missing? What's not working? I wish I could figure it out. Your reticular activating system is going to tell you and show you more of that. But if you're like, I'm always in alignment, let me see what's emerging today. What is intuition telling me today? You will see signs that reflect that. Okay. That's why we got to live above this line. We drew a line in the sand yesterday. Below the line, we're stuck with what we can see. Above the line, we have infinite possibility and abundance. Below the line, we're in doubt, we're in fear, security, insecurity, scarcity, analysis paralysis, overthinking everything. You're looking for threats. What if it don't work? I don't know what I'm doing. Well, I can't just, well, nobody's gonna, well, if I post it then, that's below the line living, below the line thinking. But if you're above the line, you have trust, certainty, possibility, flow. And your brain is actually going to identify opportunities. You're going to read an email and say, hmm, that's a good model I could take and use. That's a great approach. I can use that in my email. I like their format. Like, like things will come to you when you show up in the energy. Intuition, by the way, only speaks above the line. Okay. So now let me tell you how intuition is literally, this is the engine that we're building. When they say start your engine, when they say, this is a startup, you have to have an engine. What are we starting up? So entrepreneurship is this vehicle to get you there. You got to have an engine. That is putting structure around what your intuition is telling you to do. Okay. Most people think that this engine is like your strategy, your offer, your marketing, or your skills, or even your product. And okay, that's fine. Those things are fine, but that's not the engine. Those are the wheels. That's not the engine. Those are the wheels on your vehicle. Okay, so that can move you forward, but it's not going to power anything. So you can have the best design strategy in the universe. You can hire Bain and Company and Boston Consulting Group and McKinsey and all of them to do you a whole strategy. It's not going to move your business forward. You can be in Forbes. You can get an award. You can be in the blog. You can do all that. You can get on the Today Show right now. That is not going to power your business. I'll give you an example. LinkedIn. Y'all know I have a coach for email marketing, LinkedIn, YouTube, Substack, podcasts. I do. I know exactly how to do everything in step by step by step by step. I paid some of these people to teach this thing. Okay. So I'm a LinkedIn coach. She showed some receipts the other day. She said her most viral post made her the least amount of money in her business. She did a post. I think it probably got like 7-8 million impressions by the time it was over with. Very popular. But she was able to track, who got on the email list and who from that became, customers and all that. She actually didn't make any money off that post. But she had another post that had about, I think she has like 60,000 followers on LinkedIn. So this post had like 3,200 impressions or something like that. She made $45,000. Okay. So your content strategy is not the engine. Your any kind of strategy, any kind of planning, your branding, your logo, all that stuff we like to spend time on. That's not the engine. The thing that generates the energy, the momentum, the force that drives your business forward is taking your intuition. Because intuition is very targeted, okay? It leads into this discussion of clarity that we've been on for the last 2 weeks. Intuition is taking you to a destination. You can't have a GPS and not put an end point on there. You have to tell it where you're going. So when intuition is speaking, it's leading you to a very specific target. And I'm about to go over these questions again. You need to be so very, very clear. She said when she did the post that got 8 million impressions, she was kind of just talking to everybody. Business, leadership. The one that got the fewer impressions and made the most money, she had a very clear target in mind. In fact, she's changed all of her content to only speak to this very clear target. Very, very clear. I help this kind of person get this kind of outcome so they can go back to this, what they really want in life, and I help them get that done. That's what I do here. So when you're ready for this kind of transformation, they know to call her. Now that's something that people can go repeat about her. I might give y'all her playbook tomorrow. I might do that. Some version of it. But it's a very, very clear value proposition. There's no confusion. It's not like, oh, it's for everybody. Oh, I just want to help people. Like, no. Super duper clear. Okay. Intuition is telling you what to create, who to serve, how to pivot, when to move. Pay attention. If you're not following that intuition, checking in, okay, gut check, okay, let's audit, let me see. Oh, I'm supposed to do that. I don't have this part done yet. They said this is very important. Let me make sure. Intuition will lead you. It's not going to lead you to a bag of money in the backyard. It's going to lead you to a person. People who've been where you're trying to go, and they're saying, okay, do it like this, go like this, try this, do this, do this. Intuition led you there. So now you got to ask yourself why you're not doing the thing. We got to face ourselves when we do this work, okay? Intuition is guiding you. It's connecting you to the source where all your business, your abundance is coming from. That's when things start to flow, okay? Now, mind you, when I started my business, I did not start by let me go do a bunch of focus groups, a bunch of, whatever. I didn't do that. I just moved because I got the download and I started doing my research. I started working on the algorithm and I started telling my story. And I let the people gather around that storytelling. And then based on what they told me that they need, we built a business, a product ecosystem around that, meeting people where they are. I went to an event because intuition told me to go. I met somebody who introduced me to somebody that invited me to speak. I would go to the panels. I just was outside following intuition. And next thing you know, NASA called, Google called. They flew me up to Flint, Michigan. And the United Nations called and the whole thing, right? Coca-Cola called. I did a TED talk. It just became this global thing. The venture capitalists called. Google and Apple and all the rest of it. Y'all know these. It wasn't like something that I sat down and said, okay, in month 1, I'm going to, and by month 4, I'll be, and then by year 1, no. But following intuition got me there. Okay, my conscious mind couldn't have known that these connections existed, but my intuition did. Go here, talk to this person, do this thing. But you have to listen, you have to follow through. If it's like research this, study this, write this article, read this book, you have to actually complete that process, complete that action. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to see the whole staircase and know what's on the other side and all that. You have to take a step. And then the next one appears and the next one. Until you look back and you're like, well, wait a minute, how did I even get here? If you don't listen to your intuition and don't build structure around that, build your whole life around supporting this energy, if you don't live by this energy and putting structure around it, you will stall, you will get stuck, you will get discouraged, you will get distracted, you will start panicking because you don't know how to move forward. You'll start running out of resources, running out of supply, running out of the flow. And you'll be like, I don't know what's happening. It was working and now nothing. It's because you disconnected. Okay, this is your engine. Your intuition is like the thing that powers your forward progress. If you don't follow your intuition, you're leaving yourself open to fear, doubt, other people's opinions. They don't know what they're talking about. Listen, if the person telling you what you need to be doing has not built a business from scratch and made millions of dollars, you shouldn't be listening to them. And I don't mean that they can't speak some insight into what you got going on, but I mean overall, they just constantly it's not a good source of advice in terms of what should I do next, unless it's coming from a place. Again, you have to follow your feeling in your body. If you feel like this is off, something's off about this, then you can't listen to advice from everybody. Okay, somebody's giving you logic, somebody telling you what they think you need to be doing. Well, if I were you, I don't see why you can't. They already starting off wrong. Okay, so y'all got to be careful. Don't let somebody drag you down. Elevators, we're going up. We're going up. We're going up. Don't let them bring you down. Don't let the elevator bring you down. Shout out to Prince. So this is why we need to go back to these questions. Whenever we get stuck, whenever we feel like we don't know what to do next, we feel like we lost momentum, we feel like, okay, I'm all over the place. I don't actually know what I'm doing. That's when we're going to go back to these questions that I gave you guys on yesterday. I'm going to pull it back up. And then if y'all got any questions, go for it. Because I'm getting ready to plan my week. It's time to plan your week. That's what you should be doing. So you can figure out what you're going to be doing starting today, tomorrow, and really build from there. Like, you don't have to, we don't have to struggle. Like, let us not. Let us not walk into another week and don't know what's going on out here, and just like hoping something's gonna work out. Like, let us not go into another week like, man, I got this bill. Oh my god, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I wish I was making money. Why is everybody else making money but me? Like, none of that. Let us not. We don't have to live like that no more, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I want us to just, can we just set a new standard? You know what I'm saying? Can we do that as a people, as a unit? Okay, so let me open up this document again that we went over yesterday. Um, hold on. There we go. And let me do it for my streamers. Shout out to my streamers. Shout out to y'all. Okay. Here we go. We're starting our business engine. Anytime you feel stuck, overwhelmed, I don't know what to do, whether you're starting for the first time or every day you got to recenter yourself because you got a lot going on around you. This is where you start. Okay. First thing we want to do is define our worldview. The way we do that, these are the questions that we ask ourselves. What is a big problem that you have been paying attention to? Why does that matter? Because your reticular activating system is filtering all this other stuff out, but somehow you're paying attention to this. That's a sign, that's a signal. Okay, that's intuition. And I noticed I said big problem. I used to tell people, find the biggest problem that you are uniquely positioned to solve. That's what you want to do. Something that nobody else is paying attention to, something that they keep leaving this one piece out, and to you it seems obvious, but nobody else is doing it. That's your intuition leading you. Okay. What do you believe about how the world should be? I need you to really start to understand the power of words. When you start to articulate what you do and why it matters in a way that's elevated, in a way that connects with people, this is what gets people to move. Money follows motion. How much money do you want to make? And that's how much emphasis you should put on the words that you choose. Words are containers for energy. Money is energy. So if you want to spend less time, is also money. You want to spend less time, you want to shorten the amount of time, you want to collapse time between I started this business and now I'm making money. I'm making 10, 20, $30,000 a month. You know how to speed that up? Use more precise, more impactful words. So don't ignore this. What do you believe about how the world should be? I believe that humans should not be the sensors alerting us to water quality problems. I think that's insane. It's 2026. They got time to program AI to do all this other stuff, but you still can't tell me what's in this water that's coming out my tap in my house. I think that's insane. That's insane. They can tell me right now who has the highest probability of winning the Super Bowl next year, but they can't, the EPA does not know what's coming out of your tap right now. That's crazy work. That's crazy work. I believe we need to do something about it. We need to take the same technology and apply it to water quality. Do you understand that there's no human on earth who's not going to be like, yeah, that you're right. What? So, well, how do we do that? Now they're leaning in. Money follows motion. This is how you move people. You need to start talking differently about your business, y'all. Stop acting like this is optional. It's not optional. These are not options. These are not options. These are things, things that we need to do. We got to do it. Okay. Who will let you listen to this? Who will let you listen to them talk about your problem and invite you into the conversation? Who trusts you enough to do that? That's your intuition. These are people you already have proximity to, whose problem you are uniquely positioned to add value to the conversation. Okay. It doesn't matter that you see a problem if you don't have proximity to the people and they don't trust you to let you solve the problem. So these are the things you need to think about. Who are your people? And will they actually listen to you? Okay. I hope y'all are writing this stuff down, going through your journal. Like, this is money. This is money. So I talk to brilliant Black entrepreneurs, visionaries, creatives, but their brilliance is not matching their bank account, but they have to look smart in front of everybody else. You can come over here and talk to me about what's really going on, and I got you. That's who I help. And it's like, well, I know I can do it. You can't have this conversation in front of other people. You can't have it in front of your family because they expect you to have it figured out. Come on over here. That's what I do. Saying, who are your people? Because I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to be like, well, I don't know what your problem is. First of all, you need to go get a job because, all of that, you don't have to worry about that over here. Because I understand. This is a safe space. Who's that for you? Who's that for you? Okay, number 2, you want to describe your hypothesis. I made my slides like this because it makes me feel good. You know what I mean? So when it comes to branding, we shouldn't be spending that much time. It's just a feeling and we move on. That's it. I mean, it's Canva. It's Canva. This is not Canva. It's not Canva. I actually have the whole Adobe Creative Suite, and I actually am using graphic design tools, even though I'm not a graphic designer. But still, it's not that deep. It's like, boop, 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 like, let's go. Like, y'all get you some slides. My favorite posts on, like, I don't know, like when they have just the words and nothing else on the screen. My favorite ones are the ones that's a black background and white text. That's it. It's the words, okay, that are going to impact people. So anyway, describe your hypothesis. What is it that you really believe? Now, you're telling me that this is going to work. So what is it that you're saying? If I do this, I'll be able to help people go from the problem to the solution. So what is this for you? This is in our hypothesis phase, okay? Because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know until you get out here and talk to humans. But we got to start somewhere. So if I do this, I'll be able to help people go from problem to solution. You can call this a business model. You can call this, your vision and your mission statement and all that stuff you'll be saying. But it has to have some legs to it. I'm going to show up doing this kind of work. And when I do this, I believe it's going to help people go from the problem state to the solution state. Notice how different that is from, I just want to help people. I just want to give people my famous recipe. I just want to be outside. And, I know I'm smart and I just want to help people. Like, that is too vague and it's not going to work. You have to have a target, a laser focus. If I do this, so I believe that if I create a space where people feel safe and we can deal with both the inner game and the outer game, deal with the mentality and the mindset and the ways of thinking and intuition and stuff that nobody else talks about in any other entrepreneurship program. And then combine that with world-class proven frameworks that have made me and others tens of millions, billions of dollars. And create like a safe space for us to just do that work and wax on, wax off and do it again. I believe if I do that, people will go from, man, I got all these ideas and all this potential, to my clients are getting results and my name's in these streets and I'm getting calls and partnerships from all over the world. That's what I believe. So how do you think people feel when they're stuck in their problem state? Well, I know that's what I've been talking about all day, feeling overwhelmed, feeling frustrated, got people in your ear. You've been doing this for a long time and you're stuck at an income ceiling, or you're just not making the money you need to make, or you're what you're supposed to be doing every day, every week, but you just can't find it. Somehow you just can't find it in yourself. You are going outside, going to the coffee shop. You're just like trying to go somewhere to feel like you're busy instead of doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing to move your business forward, because you're afraid of it and you don't know why. You feel stuck between a job and the good life. Stuck between, okay, I got this idea and I got this talent, but nothing's happening, and now I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. So it's kind of a downward spiral. That's how they feel. How do your people feel? You should be able to describe that problem language, and they should hear you talking and be like, oh my God, yes, you're talking to me. Do you know what that is for your people? How would they describe this outcome in their business? If they could describe the ideal solution, what they really want out of their business, what would they say? How would they describe it? So I know everybody wants generational wealth. They want to build a legacy. They want to do all this stuff. I already know that because I've been doing this a long time. What does that look like for your audience? What is it that they actually want? And then where am I? Where's my document? There it is. Okay. What are the steps that are going to take them from being in that problem state to being in that solution state? So for me, it's the identity shift, number one. Putting these core pieces of architecture in place in your business, not optional. Number two, which is encompassed in our big five. Because everything I'm asking you right now, this is going to go into your elevator pitch, your 5-star pitch. It's going to show up in your Afro method. It's going to show up in how you talk to humans. You got to get out here and talk to 50 people. It's going to show up in your social media and what you post. I believe you got to make this identity shift, do the big five, and then scale what's working in an intentional, strategic way. If you do those three things, you're going to go from, I'm stuck in my head, I know what I can do, but I got opportunity, I got access, I know a lot of people, but it's going to go from that to, oh my God, I hit a button, I sent an email and I made $10,000. I made $3,000. I made an offer and I sold out. Yeah. So what are the steps that you're designing for people that you believe are going to take them from that problem state to the solution state? Can you answer that? And can you speak about it in a way that even if they've never seen your product, y'all know millions of people know who I am in my space, who have been exposed to my work or whatever. I mean, we almost sold 1 million units, I guess, over the years, but we hadn't sold no millions of products. They hadn't even seen the technology, but they heard the narrative. And the more clearly you could talk about this work, the more quickly your narrative spreads. And that's how you hurry up and get to level 3 on this video game. You'll be making all the money you want to make. I can get y'all to $100,000 a month. I know I can. Every single one of you. But these first 2 steps are so life-changing. Shifting your identity like this is not a game. Because it requires you to live from your heart space and not your head all day. And then when that activates your zone of genius and intuition, is like, okay, do this. You don't hesitate. You don't be like, oh, I can't do that. You just drop back there, just cut the whole car off. But if you would live like this all day, every day, y'all would be making $1 million a year. That's really what I want making the bank to be. But I'm like, we don't even have 5-star pitches. They don't need to be teaching all this advanced stuff. It don't make sense. So I'm breaking it down like this so we can get in here and do this work. Okay. So you define your hypothesis. Then you have to become a truth mirror. Okay. This is where you immerse yourself in their world to learn their language. Talk to people the way they talk, not the way you talk. This is where we filter out all this corporate language, all this I want to sound smart, all this technical language. Don't turn to your neighbor and say, don't nobody care. They don't care how smart you are. They're not concerned. This is not the time to be deep. You are not applying for a job as a middle manager, underpaid person at a random regional, nobody ever heard of corporation. That's not what this is. You're not here to sound smart. You are here for them to hear you talking and they're like, oh my gosh, he's talking to me. He's talking to me. So are you willing, instead of watching Netflix all day and sports, First Take, that used to be my show. I can't even watch it no more. It's so boring. And now football's over. They really ain't got nothing to talk about. I mean, it's not the same. After the NFL season's over, it's just not the same. And by the time basketball is over, it's like, child, just stop. We don't have time to be doing all of that. You need to be in their world, learning their language. How are they talking about their problems, what they got going on? You need to find out where they're congregating, where they're meeting, whether that's in person or digitally, and start showing up in these spaces to build connections and find those commonalities. This isn't optional. And so typically these entrepreneurship programs give us the form, but not the power, not the connection. So they got networking events, but you just in there, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know why. Nobody told you the purpose, nobody told you how to show up, you don't have no home training, nobody knows what they're doing. You think that those are your customers, and they probably aren't. But they probably can introduce you to people. You need your narrative to be known in those rooms and those circles. But you shouldn't be in there like, man, I need to pay my rent. Let me see if I can get 2-3 people to buy something from me. I mean, they might buy something from you, but that's not the point anyway. You got to learn how to network. We should be researching and studying other solutions and things that they may have tried before. You need to be the expert on why those things aren't working and why yours is better. From their lens, not yours. And then identify key pain points that other people are simply not addressing. You should be very well versed on that. It's kind of not optional. It's just kind of not. Because you should be able to talk about these things. You should be able to flow in a conversation about that. If quote unquote objections ever arise, they would already be answered if you had done this inner work, this homework, before you ever got into a sales conversation. Right? Then we're going to clarify exactly who it is that we're helping. See, we're spiraling up, so we're doing it again. Who are these people? To help means to meet somebody exactly where they are. What language do they use to describe themselves? Where can you find them? Where are they hanging out? Where can you meet them? We're supposed to be listening, reflecting, and inviting connection. What do you help them to do exactly? You help them get to their ideal solution state. You should be able to state that with clarity. Or you should be able to explain the journey. I help them go from this problem state to this solution state in a simple phrase. Can you do that? So I help brilliant Black entrepreneurs, visionaries, creatives escape the matrix, get off the financial grid. We go from hustle to habits, from employee to entrepreneur, from lack of limitation to legacy, from consumer to creator, from ideas, a bunch of ideas, to assets. Okay? I can make you wealthy. Yes, I can. But you got to go through this whole identity shift. Are you ready? You ready to do this work? This is the work. It's the inner game and outer game. That's what I do. Why does it matter that your audience gets this right? Why do they care? I know that if you get this right, like I said, you're going to have $10, $20, $30,000 months. You're going to be able to make millions of dollars. You're going to be able to get you and your family off the financial grid. You're going to get started and build your financial freedom, your generational wealth that you keep talking about. And most importantly, you're going to escape the digital control grid that they're building for you right now. This is the way to make the great escape. And then what are the stakes? What has kept them from doing this? What happens if they use other solutions instead of yours? What happens if they don't solve this problem? Well, as I keep telling you guys, it's not 1985, so we don't have time. If we don't get some money and get out of what we consider middle class, it's not looking good out here. Your options are going to get fewer and fewer and fewer until they control pretty much everything you do. But if you want more freedom, you want to be able to move, certainly to your own land that you control, or possibly leave the country. If you want to be in position to take advantage of the greatest wealth transfer in human history that's happening right now as they reset the entire global financial system, let's do this work, get some cash flow, get some assets so we can leverage them and get out the way. Otherwise, we're going to be stuck. And this time we might not be able to come back from it because civil rights is a bubble. The bubble has burst. I mean, it's now or never. It's now or never. When you're ready to rise, I got you. Can you say that? Can you make a statement like that for your people? It should just flow off the tongue. Okay? I help who? To do what? So they can what? Despite what? So instead of running the meatballs on alcohol and running to entrepreneurship programs and spinning their wheels for 4 years and not making no money. Even if they already ran through their savings and now it's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Because then now they can't go back and get a job and now they feel stuck. I can help them to do this without wasting, another tens of thousands of dollars chasing after these programs, and these people sell from these stages, and then they just take your money and you still ain't got no revenue in your business. That's what I mean by the stakes. Instead of, without, even if. Can you fill this statement in for your people? And is it powerful when you do it? Anybody want to try? You don't have to, but if you want to, go for it. Okay. Now, we're leveling up again. Now, we just did this exercise. We had a hypothesis. We went out and talked to some people. We're like, okay, let me take a stab at this is what I want to say about what I do. If you keep doing this every day, you talk to people every day, you're going to get better at this every day, every week. So now, this needs to become your new identity. I'm the person who shows up for people in this way. Oh, I see a hand. Go ahead, Tracy.
All right. I'll try. Okay. So you can go back to okay. So I help who to act so they can act despite the stakes. Okay. I help women. I help Black women connection. Okay, I wrote it the other day. Okay, so they can. I help Black women that have had their strength used against them, so that they can. I help Black women that have had their strength used against them, those that have become like heroes of suffering, and I help them. Let me see the page again.
The who, to, so, stakes. So you just said the who, now it's the to.
Yeah.
You help them to do what?
To get their mind, money, and their metabolism right, so that they can live their best life.
That's good.
Through yoga, yeah.
That's really good. And then it's like, if you did the stakes, it would be like, instead of whatever they were doing before.
And
or even if they don't have,
instead of being called like angry Black woman, or instead of being there's like their strength being used against them, something like this.
Yes. So do it again. Very good.
Okay. I help Black women that have had their strength used against them, those that have become heroes of suffering. I help them by.
You help them to do what?
I help them to get their money, metabolism, and mind right through yoga.
So they can.
So that they can live their best life.
That's good. I would do it again. Embody it. Believe it.
Okay. I help Black women that have had their strength used against them, those that have become heroes of suffering. I help them to get their mind, money, and metabolism right through yoga, so that they can live their best life.
Now, doesn't that feel like, okay?
Yeah.
You and anybody who's listening to you, you're going to be like, they're going to lean in. It's like, wait a minute. So you do what now? How do we do this? Wait a minute. Tell me more about this. Do you understand? That's the whole point. You got some cheers in the comments. That's literally the point. It makes them want to lean in. That's motion. They're like, hold on now. You're doing what now? Tell me more about this. How do you start doing this? How do you do that? And then boom, you just go through your 5-star pitch from there.
Okay.
Or whatever, right? But if it creates motion, curiosity is the highest frequency. If it creates motion, curiosity makes people want to lean in. Connection is the birthplace of all currency. It makes them want to,
Okay.
That's how you know you got it.
Got it.
So yeah, embody that. I love it. I love this. I love this work. I love it here. Okay, so this is the elevator way. We're going to do it again. Choose a new identity. Who are you for real? Now, I'm coming in as the champion. I'm speaking of your problem and your worldview as my own. So what aspect of your personality is the most relatable, either in contrast to or in complement to the solution that you're developing? So I used that example the other day. When I'm talking to, let's say it this way. When I'm talking to this group, I'm relating to you as somebody who started a business from scratch. With my mind, I had an idea. You know what I'm saying? And it turned into a globally recognized 8-figure evaluated company. So I can relate to this journey. I'm not just telling you something I read in a book. I'm not telling you something like these people in these entrepreneurship programs. Most of them come out of corporate and they get a 6-figure job to run the entrepreneurship program. Now tell me how that makes sense. I don't understand. How are they gonna tell you about starting a business and they never done this from scratch? Like this is different. This is not I left my job and I walked straight into a contract with my other partner because we took all the clients from this existing business that's already been in business for 50 years. I'm talking about literally you starting from zero. So I can relate. As someone who's built a business from literally zero, just an idea, to an 8-figure valuation, I understand the struggles, the internal, the back and forth, what it is to create something that doesn't exist. It's actually the hardest thing I've ever done. Okay, so what outcome now have you made it your mission to help people experience in your lifetime? That's why I'm on a mission to create a space where the most brilliant among us, visionaries, creatives, entrepreneurs, people, you got something, you got greatness, you got a calling. Some of y'all said God, Jehovah God told you to do, all of that. I'm here to create a space where we can bridge this gap, collapse this gap between your brilliance and your bank account. Because right now they're not matching. We're going to change that. And when we get this right, now I'm on the so. What is the lasting significance and importance of you achieving this mission? When we get this right now, you're going to build, you're going to normalize having more than enough money. So you could put some money in savings. You can buy some investments and assets. You can get off the financial grid. You can have a home that you own and control and not be worried about rents are going to keep going up and up and up and up as the economy is squeezing the middle class out. You don't have to worry about all that. If you want to leave the country, you want to buy some land, you want to get your own food supply, whatever you need to do, you have the resources to do that. You'll be able to train your kids. If you want to homeschool, you can afford to do that because you don't have to go back out into the marketplace, into the workplace. Who else agrees with you in the importance of this mission? I taught this. I teach this for Spelman. I teach this at Harvard. You know what I'm saying? I've taught this for the U.S. Small Business Administration. Taught it on 5 continents. I'm on a mission to make sure that you get access to this level of mentoring. The same that I got from my billionaire mentors, I'm passing it on to you. Okay. Ted Turner used to walk in his office. They didn't know he was in the building until he just walked in. And people try to, he's in the building. It's too late now. He'll just walk in there and he'll look around and say somebody wasn't sitting there. He'll just look at their desk. And he would say, cluttered desk, cluttered mind. And he'll just walk out. And people be so embarrassed. But he didn't play. People who make money read energy. That's why they usually want to have a meeting with you in person. It's not that they just want to be so social. They have to look people in the eyeball. They're reading your energy. Like when I met Beyonce's publicist, child, we met in breakfast. She looked me dead about eye. And I finished it off and she said, "Oh, you finna change the world." She said, "I want to work with you." I said, "Well, yeah, I am changing the world. Come on. I mean, what are we doing?" They read energy. So you have to come, the more you elevate your frequency and you start showing up as a champion for your people, talk about what you've done so far. Like you become detached from the outcome. You're not just looking for another sale, just another client, another proposal, another whatever. You're like, I am on a mission to make sure that people don't have to experience what I experienced. I'm on a mission to make sure people can get this outcome in my lifetime, on my watch. You know what I'm saying? And then you talk about the stakes. If we don't get this right, y'all, they are going to reintroduce slavery, that we will be back in slavery. They've canceled civil rights. DEI is over with. The middle class, guess who's going to get hit worse and first with all of this stuff, all these changes? Us. And eventually we won't be able to do anything. They give you a digital currency. And then they say, well, you can get this currency, but you got to do what we say. You got to send your kid to the school that we say. You can only live in the neighborhood that we say. Segregation is back. Jim Crow will be back. Next thing you know, to be sharecropping, and we'll just be back. De facto slavery. And I'm saying, not on my watch. My ancestors did not fight and die, some of them, for us to just get swept back up and go back to a place where we don't have any financial control whatsoever because we don't have any assets. Because we couldn't figure out how to get over ourselves and go make some money and get some cash flow right quick. So this is urgent right now more than ever. So I'm going to help 100 families to make this transition. And that, if you want to be a part of it, that's what we do in the dollhouse. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's not raising their hand signing up for that? Who's not like, oh, yeah, nah. Because first of all, what? Secondly, yeah. You show up as a champion for your people and see how they move differently. So you could talk this way. As someone who has, and describe your relatable experience, I've made it my mission to describe your mission so that people like you can get this outcome. This is another way to do the same thing, because I just did a very informal survey the last 2 weeks, and I recognize that probably 80% of the dollhouse, we still can't do an elevator pitch. And I don't know what that's about, but it changes today, changes this week. Okay. So you could talk from a very personal place, but there's power in that. As somebody who's, experienced, built a company from scratch, I know what it is to take an idea out of your head and go through the uncertainty of, not knowing where your money's coming from. So I've made it my mission to make it really simple for people to go from idea to asset, just by shifting their identity and using proven playbooks from myself and my billionaire mentors, so that they can get past $10,000, $20,000 a month easy in their business, start to build generational wealth, buy some assets, and be okay in the face of the Great Reset. Again, who's not signing up for that? Who's not like, well, more information, please? And so that's what we have to create, you guys, is a no-brainer for people to lean in with you, to rock with you. Okay. Then we go higher. We can actually codify our beliefs. What do you believe about the world? Give your audience something to believe in when you speak. Okay. You can talk about why you believe people are experiencing this problem. Why does it exist? You're basically naming your common enemy. So you could say, you know what? Capitalism was not built for us. It was built on us. I believe, they never intended for us to be financially free. That's why all these programs are not working, because they're built on the old model. They're telling us we need something outside of ourselves to be great, to be wealthy. But that's not how real wealth is made. So the common enemy is believing you need somebody to give you something for you to make some money. That is false. What do you believe about where the world is now versus where it should be? I believe that everybody should have, if we go to aquagenuity, everybody has a right to know what's in the food we eat, the air we breathe, the water we drink. And there's enough data, enough tools, and enough technology out here to make that a reality. So I made it my mission to do that. What's possible when we bring this vision to life? Well, we are creating the world's first real-time water quality monitoring systems. We call them aqua hubs. That will make it possible for you to know in real time if there's a sudden change in your water quality. You would know. Your faucet would tell you. Your refrigerator would tell you. Your app would tell you. You would get a notification immediately, not after you've been exposed to it for weeks or months, not after it's been negatively impacting your health. You can talk about how other solutions are falling short or failing us. Who's going to be left behind if we don't solve this? What is a future that you are unwilling to accept? And I talked about this yesterday, this idea of like, right now, people are being exposed to stuff and we don't know. There's Alzheimer's, cancers, ALS, all types of immunodiseases, kids lowering IQ scores. All of this is happening a lot of times because of what's in our water. It's only going to get worse with all these AI data centers that are being built. We're under attack right now in our water supply. That's why I started the Guardians of H2O. We're not playing. I want to make sure everybody has water, has access to water that's sustainable, accessible, verifiable, and equitable. Nobody's going without water, not on my watch. Again, who's not signing up for this when you talk like this? It's like, so if you want to be a part of this mission or whatever, like they're going to raise their hand. So you could talk like this. I believe, share your worldview. That's why this is what I do, who I do it for. This is not, just a little test kit that you get at the Home Depot. That's static data. This is not the little EPA once a year little consumer confidence report they send you. The water changes as often as the weather. This is not that. Okay, this is the world's first real-time water quality monitoring system. And you can be a part of building that, bringing that to your neighborhood, to your city. If you want to get involved, join our email list, grab you a test kit, sign up your local school. Who's not doing that? Who? Tell me who. Tell me how it could be defeated. I'll wait. All because of how I changed how I talk about it. Versus saying I built a single layer perceptron that ingests data from EPA, municipalities, and private sources, and with 85 to 95% accuracy. We cover 82% of the US population, but with between 85 and 93% accuracy, we could tell you what's in your water and even predict such. Nobody knows what I said, and nobody cares. So simply by changing how you talk about your work, it's going to change how people respond to what you talk about. And if you make people want to move, money follows that motion. So are y'all here for the energy or what? You let me know. When you master your pitch, that is how you start your engine. So give me the questions, comments, concerns, challenges, feedback, and personal story time. Give it to me. What y'all got? Comments, questions, concerns, anything? I'm challenging you to be great, not good, but great at talking about your work and what you do, because it matters. Also because it gives legs, it gives structure to what your intuition has been telling you. Okay? So if intuition is like, go to this place, talk to this person, do this thing, email this person, but you just have no discipline about how you're talking about your work, they could just get lost because they're confused, they don't know what you said. That don't mean intuition was wrong. That means you didn't put no structure in your life for this energy to flow through. You know what I mean? And it's like we're doing ourselves a disservice to not get in the gym, do these reps, build these systems, and create an engine where, like I said, this energy and intuition has somewhere to flow through. Go ahead, Tracy.
Okay, thank you, Doll. Beautiful slides. Love the colorful. I love the rainbow, so I love the background and everything. Once again, this is good. This definitely creates movement. I definitely want to see myself moving forward. However, I feel like an addict, like someone that's addicted to lack, and then everything has already crumbled around me. Like I'm watching it, like I've hit rock bottom, and I don't think we know what rock bottom is when it comes to our own personality defects, because we can always go lower because it's not physical, it's something inside of us. And I just feel like I've hit rock bottom and I'm watching everything crumble. I'm watching these systems that I never created work against me. And I'm like sitting on a corner, like the corner of the wall, like panting. And I know I need to move because the house is about to burn. The house is about to go down. And I'm just sitting here like, or should I move? And does it matter because everything else is gone, or every opportunity to figure out how to get myself from this paralyzed state? And the most that I hear you say that's accessible to me within my own personality is the talking to humans. Mm-hmm. Now that's the hardest part too, But it's the part that I almost feel like if I did that, like if you build it, they will come type of thing. Like I feel like if I went out and spoke to more humans, then I would be forced to create systems to engage and keep them moving in the direction of, my business. But then, of course, that's also the fear of speaking to more humans and then not having systems. So I'm just kind of listening to all this, and you've been so patient with us. Because you're right. Even with the way I sound with my 5 stars pitch, we shouldn't sound like this at day 50. We shouldn't sound like this in this particular 100-day challenge at all. Yet you don't fault us for it. You keep walking with us where we are. Yet I do want to move. I'm doing my lives, and I'm trying to get more structured with how I feel in the lives. So um, you know where we're at. Obviously, because you've been really patient. What do you think it's going to take for us to not just get it, but move with it?
Daily
Because I
habits.
get daily habits. Okay.
So, like, let's say that really felt good to you, what you shared earlier when you took a stab at this version of the elevator pitch.
Yeah. It felt good. It felt good to try. It was. I mean, I hesitated just because it was like, okay, you don't have an elevator pitch. How many times are you gonna try this? But I'm like, at least try so you can practice. I mean, I'm writing it down. These are things that I've written down based on things that I hear you saying.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm moving it forward. I just don't believe there's one elevator pitch, which you've already told us. But then I'm like, is Black woman the right target market? How about the men? Or how about these white people that are going to? Where do I draw the
But do you
line
see how
when
easy it is to just move that in and out?
oh yeah, for
Right?
sure, for sure, for sure.
So daily habits, meaning you practice it like you just gave it to me every day though. Like embody it. Like meditate on it. Like what does it mean? You help what's that phrase you use? The heroes of something. What are they? Suffering? What is it?
As like Black women become, and that came from listening to you. I think it was yesterday or the day before I started. I think it was Thursday, but yeah, just listening to, I'm like, yeah, this is what they do. They make us heroes of suffering. So and I don't know, and I keep trying not to get so much in the poetic, but my mind does think in poetic terms. So I'm trying to bridge that between just being normal. But yeah, that's kind of how I see us as
So
Black
right.
women.
So think
Yeah.
about that. What are they feeling like? If they
I
are
feel like they're not seen. They're
mm-hmm,
not seen.
mm-hmm.
They're supposed to break and fall apart, and then someone will say, "Well, I told you, girl. I told you to take some time for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I told you you're doing too much." After the fact, but when they're giving these services, everyone is taking it.
Mm-hmm.
But then when we break down, it's like, okay, you did too much.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the kind of heroes of suffering that I feel within my life, because my love language is acts of service. So I do a lot of movement. People are always saying, Tracy, can you sit down? So I know a lot of women are feeling this need to constantly keep up with everything
Okay.
and not make it look like it's like be happy while you do it, basically, like effortless kind of thing.
So you help them go from feeling like that, feeling like they have to have it all together, to what?
To a place where they can find their strength within and set clear boundaries and not feel guilty for it.
Mm-hmm. I hope you're
You
writing this
know?
down.
No, I'm just saying it because
But
you're asking me these questions.
but this is what I'm saying. What you are saying is all you have to do. And when I say daily habits, it just means revisiting this. Where did this just come from? Where did those answers just come from?
They're coming from within. They're all here. I'm just trying to think of something to say to someone where they don't expect me in their place of business. I'm just walking in,
this
speaking
is it.
to, okay.
Yeah. And so the more you do this every day, like literally practice this every day. That's the only reason we're writing it down and putting it on our schedule to practice our pitch every single day, because you need to embody this energy every day. I help women, you can change it. I help people, I help, overworked, whatever, dot, fill in the blank, depending on who you're talking to. But I help them to go from feeling like they have to hold it all together and have it all together, to getting back to that sense of power and inner whatever you just said, and clarity and certainty and boundaries, and really loving
Yeah.
yourself and da 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 da. I'm able to do that. I'm able to get people this transformation, and I use yoga as a vehicle to get there.
Yeah.
And I've worked with folks who have addiction. I work with folks who've done this. I work with professionals. I work with, da, 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 da. Even people who are just getting started on their wellness journey. They find that I become a bridge for them. I make them feel comfortable in this world and not feel like they're weird for, let's just do some breathing. Let's just do some stretching. I meet people where they are and bring them into this world, where they can da da da
Yes,
da da.
yes.
If you practice that every single day, it's not in your head, it's in your heart. Drop down to your heart space and practice this every day. You're
Okay.
allowing your neural pathways to rewire themselves. This becomes the new normal. This is how I talk to people. So you won't be asking me, well, what do I? Because that gap will disappear. Your brain will know. This is how we talk to. This is how you walk into a business. You tell them what you do, and the more elevated you are. When I keep saying be detached from the outcome, the more we elevate our speech, the more it doesn't matter what people say or how they receive it, because we know we just dropped the mic. Like what? If you don't respond, I don't know what you got going on, but somebody heard, you know what I mean? People will be running from across the gym. Now, what were you saying? You weren't talking to me, but I was listening. Like, you'll get that kind of reaction when you talk like this, as opposed to worried about who's going to say what and what they think. We don't concern ourselves with that. So if you do it every day, the power is in the repetition, because that's what your conscious mind knows how to do. I know how to do something that, okay, I see a pattern here. Okay, okay, what do we do? Okay, this is a new thing. Okay, boom, boom. And then it will rewire these neural pathways, and now it'll be set up for that. And now the brain's got it. I'm running this program. Good, I'm good. But if you never do the repetition and give it that time to create a new program, you're not gonna. It's gonna always feel uneasy and weird. So that's what I mean by the power. The freedom comes from the structure. The freedom comes from doing this thing long enough for your brain to take over. You don't have to think about, how do I eat now? How do I hold a fork? How do I drive this car now? Wait a minute. Hold on. What am I gonna do? You don't have to think, because your brain has been trained to do these things. I just want you to train your brain to speak to people about your value. That's how you start your engine.
It's funny that you're talking about cars, because my mom asked me the other day, she's like, how do you eat and drive? And I was like, driving is so easy for me. And but what you're saying, you're right. I've been doing it for a while, because I remember when I started driving in my 20s, I started driving a stick shift in South Beach when I lived in Miami. I would literally have to get out my car and let random people, hobos, park my car, because I did not know. I was afraid of green, like I was afraid of green lights. I'm like, oh shoot, what do I do? How do I? Because I couldn't figure out how to. I'd have to get out the car, let other people park it, because I was at the beginning of my driving experience, and now I'm at a place where my mom is sincerely asking, like, how do you do this? And I'm like, this is a relaxing thing for me to drive. But you're right, it took a cadence. Of course, I don't drive a stick shift right now, but it took a cadence for me to get that comfort where I could feel effortless in it.
Yes. So give yourself the gift of showing up every day, because these questions now are encoded. It's not just some things to do. These questions are encoded with everything you need to sharpen your intuition. Because your intuition is a GPS. It's telling you a specific frequency, a location in the energetic field where you're showing up every day. So when I say, what's a big problem that you've noticed specifically? That is your intuition telling you, look over here, it's over here, go this way, look over here, it's over here. It's showing you that problem for a reason. This is part of your assignment. If I say, what do you believe about the way the world should be? This is your vision. This is what your system is moving you towards, not something you're running from, it's something you're moving towards. If I say, who will let you listen and talk to them about their problems? Who will allow you that access? This is intuition telling you it's over here. This right here, this matters. This is your field. You know what I mean? If you don't have access, if people aren't responding, we need this data and feedback. This is great. Because that means, okay, that's not my, I'm just digging for the treasure. I want my gold so I can go sit down on the island. Where is that? Oh, don't dig over here, dig over here. So people's feedback and receiving you when you speak like this, is intuition is guiding you. It's telling you this is your area, this is your people, go this way, go over here, look this way, look that way. If they're not receiving you, that's just not your people. It's cold. I just want to know where it's at. I know we got it. You know what I mean? It's a different positioning. It's the different, yes, positioning. So when you get stuck, ask yourself these questions that we went over today. This is going to help you define your offer, why it matters. Your elevator pitch is included in here. This is going to take you through the 5-star pitch in a very organic way. So you can talk about your beliefs. Just really have an elevated conversation with somebody. And again, the more elevated you are, the more you imbue these words with your real energy, your stamp, your signature, the more it's going to move people. And if you move people when you're talking, there's no way you don't make money on the other side of that. Okay? It keeps you out of your head. All of these questions keeps you out of your head and into their world, where they live, what they got going on. Speak like they speak. What are they struggling with? How are they moving? I would walk into every yoga studio. Once I got good at this, I would go down the list. Every yoga studio in the metro Atlanta area and beyond. You all the way down there. You got a whole new world that nobody's reaching for real down there. And I would find out, are they having trouble getting people in the door? Are they having trouble retaining clients? Like, what are they struggling with? Like, what do the owners see as a problem? And then I would speak to that. Go ahead.
One thing that I think you're also saying is, because one thing I do hear is people, like, if I invite them to yoga, they're like, oh no, I'm going to go work out today. And I guess that's something else I need to speak to directly that I'm not speaking to, is that yoga is a workout. So I think get your mind right, your muscles right, and your metabolism right. Like, you don't have to make a separate engagement to be mindful and to build muscles. Well, women don't think about muscles, but all of that, I think I need to bridge the gap. Like, they're thinking it's either I work out and do a quote unquote real workout, and or I do yoga. Which one do I have time for? Which one do I have money to invest in? I already have a gym membership. Yet yoga has all of that encompassed in it. So I guess creating, especially when I'm talking to people outside, creating a framework where they can see, they can get that it's all in one.
Well, and that sounds like your social. That sounds like what needs to be on your social. You need to host that conversation. It's like, you've been doing working out. Like, why are people even working out? What do they think all the reasons why they say they're going to work out, and you would have a whole body of work or content around. Yeah, but all of that is in yoga, but there's stuff in yoga that you're not getting with your workout. Let me break it down for you, kind of thing. Because they don't know.
Sense, yeah.
They don't know what they don't know. So yeah, that sounds like the beginning of your social media platform, which I'm very excited about. Okay. I'm very excited about. So yeah, do it every day, and it won't feel weird anymore. That's just, your brain will rewire, and it'll be fine. So, Thank you. Absolutely. And when you feel stuck, overwhelmed, that's for everybody. When you feel like, I don't know what I'm doing, you can ask yourself, am I getting immersed in their world, or am I hiding in mine? Am I showing up where they are? Am I learning their language? Am I engaging people where they are? Am I networking, building connections, even if it's just online? Am I researching? Am I getting better at understanding them? Or am I just assuming that I know? Am I stuck in my own head? And the more you're outside and talking to community members, and then bringing that back to your lab, if you will, and create innovation, create ideas that they've never seen anybody else care enough to bring to them, you bring it back to them, they'll get more excited, and you'll get even better at communicating your value. That's why we do it this way. Most of y'all have experienced it like this, but let me tell you why we do it like this. and you're going to get better outcomes and da 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 da. Like, this becomes your edge. This becomes your differentiation. It's something they can't find anywhere else. This is what makes them want to choose you. Okay. Because you can only take so many clients and customers. Y'all can't serve 10 million people. We can't. We just want the ones that are here for us and what we're building right now. And this, I'm telling you how to find them and how to make it a no brainer when they meet you in person or online. So go through these exercises, you guys. Fill in the blanks. Choose this identity. Start to show up as this greatest, highest version of you. Don't feel no way about talking to people like you know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Elevate the conversation. Listen, y'all, we can't keep eating like we used to eat. We can't keep just floating around like we used to float around. You know, whatever it is that you do. Can't keep working out the way we used to work out. You know, we thought that was enough to just go in there and lift a couple weights for 30 minutes, but you got to do it different now. Let me tell you why. Let me break it down for you. You want, okay, why you work out? They tell you, okay, you want this, and this, right? Yeah. Did you know? And then tell them something they didn't know before. And they'd be like, no, I didn't know that. Most people don't know. It's the fascia system. It's the this, is that, the breath, the oxygen, the thing got to do. If you're not doing this, your workout is not doing you no good. Did you know that if you don't get the proper, musculature, the respiratory, that, but it's actually, leading to all these health problems. Even if you are in the gym 3 days a week, you got to do like this, like this. Nobody told you that? Your gym didn't tell you that? No, nobody told me that. Listen, give me your email address. Let me get you together. Let me tell you, I got some basic little, this is what you need to do. Yoga is not what you think it is. Have you ever done yoga? No, I didn't think so. Okay, look. First of all, you got to stretch, right? Like when you work out, you got to stretch. Yeah. Okay. Well, let me show you. Let me just show you some basic things, some basic stretch, some breathing stuff. It's going to make your life better. It's going to make your relationships better. It's going to help your metabolism for real. Honestly, you're trying to lose weight. Is that what you're working out? Listen, if you're not doing it like this, you're missing like 40% of the benefit, which could be, just come on. I got a world for you. I got something for you. You know what I'm saying? Who's saying no to that? They're like, okay, great. And then you got an email and things are automated. You're following up with them. There's energy behind that. And that is literally all that I'm here to encourage everybody to do. Because if you could just start showing up like that for people every day, every week, and then just have, systems. I can't remember. I'm all over the place. My great aunt on my left hand side passed away. I'm moving. It's okay because you just go back. It's written down. Like I could just go back and refresh, my pitch. Okay, I got it. Okay, I'm back. It brings you back to center. It's like, oh, I met so many people. It doesn't matter. I met 47 people at the conference. Oh my God, you don't have to be freaking out. Why? Because you set up your email autoresponder. They're all going to get the email. They're all going to feel like they need to feel. Everything's fine. It's not like 4 weeks have gone by. They haven't followed these people because we're going to build very basic systems in our business so we can follow our intuition and not drop the ball. Y'all, that's all. That's it. That's all. Intuition is not a side chick. Intuition is guiding us to everything we want in life and more. So if you guys are ready for this transition and transformation, listen, keep drinking your water, mind your business, build your business. And just know that everything you need is on the inside of you, but nobody can make you do this work but you. So I'm just a mirror reflecting back to you the greatest, highest version of yourself. And you know what you're supposed to do when you look in the mirror. You see something you don't like, see something that don't match. What Michael Jackson say, make that change. So until the next one, I'll be here tomorrow at 2:00. Until then, I gotta go. We out. Pew!